Welcome to this tutorial on Unity. We are going to create a ramp with some balls that bounce down on the ramp. So this is the Unity tutorial that you are seeing. And I'm following something called Unity Learn. So it's learn.unity.com. And the pathway I'm following is Unity Essential. So together we're going to go through the Unity Essential pathway, where we are going to take the mission of creating The Floor is Lava, the game that you just saw. So let's get started. Unity, it is a cross-platform game engine that is released in 2005, and it helps you build games for computer, for iOS and Android, and also for console and websites. It is easy to use for beginner developers and is popular for indie game development. So the game engine can be used to create three-dimensional and two-dimensional games, as well as interactive simulators and other experiences. The engine has been adopted by industries outside video gaming also. So as an example, film, automobile, architecture, engineering, construction, and even the United States Armed Forces. This is an absolute beginner, so we are going to do a challenge called The Floor is Lava, where we're going to build a map and have a ball roll around the map and not touch the floor. So this will be physics, but not physics as in we have to do calculations. The Unity does this for us. So in order to do this challenge, The Floor is Lava, we need to create 3D project and a scene. We need to look at 3D game objects. We need to look at a hierarchy and an inspector. We need to move, rotate, and scale. And we need to link game objects in parent-child relationships, and of course build a map. So if you're new and you haven't installed Unity, you need to go to Unity website and download the Unity Hub. So here is the Unity website. Oh, here it is, download Unity. So just click and download it and install it, and you will have it right away. When you have installed it, you will get this one. This is called the Unity Hub. And the Unity Hub is where everything happens. So you will always have to go back to the Unity Hub to get your information. In Unity Hub, we have something called installs. And the Unity Hub can install the editor. So when you start the Unity Hub, you need to click here and install the editor and just pick the latest, which is long-term supported. So it will always be a long-term support and a recommended version that you need to install. And when you click install, just click everything here for the platform. When it's installed, you will have it here. And this is all the modules that I have installed: Android, tvOS, Linux, macOS, UWP, WebGL, iOS, and Windows. When it's installed, you can go to Projects and click New Project. We want to create a 3D project, The Floor is Lava. And the project name will be The Floor is Lava. And as you can see, you can actually have you can actually just write your name like this. So The Floor is Lava. And the location just let it be, or if you want to sync it with your OneDrive, you can put it in your OneDrive. So just click Create Project. When the game has loaded for the first time, it will look like this. On the left side, you have the hierarchy, which is all the objects that the game had. In the middle, you have the scene, and in the bottom, you have the project, and in the right, you have the inspector. So the first thing we are going to do is create a scene. And we have here a sample scene. And the sample scene has a main camera and it has a directional light. So the camera is where you will see when you play the game, and the light is where the light comes from. So in order to zoom in and out, I use the mouse, and then I hold Alt to move the direction. So you can see the camera points this way and the light points this way. So Alt and scroll in and scroll out on your mouse. So we have the sample scene, and we are going to create a cube, which is the floor. So in order to do this, we will click anywhere in the sample scene here, right click and go to 3D object and select the cube. And then we have the cube. On the right side of the cube, we have the inspector. And the inspector holds all the information about the cube. So this is the position of the cube in the app. And we also have the scale of the cube, so how big it is. If we press, create cube. If you press F, when we are in the game engine, we will zoom in on the cube or focus on it. F for focus. So if I press lightning and F, it will focus. So this is a very good command. So if we want to have it bigger, we can add 4 here in the y-axis, and it will be higher. We can also add items below the cube. So right click on a cube, 3D object, and add that spear. And then you will click the right arrow to move it, and you will see that the spear moves. And you have the position here is 0, 0, minus 1.91. And for the cube, it was something like this: 0.18, 0.61, and minus 2.11. So this means that when we focus on the spear, the position is relative to the cube. This is really important. So in order to remove the parent-child hierarchy here, you can just move the spear up. Then we will move it here. And then you will see the position updated in according to the center of the map. So it can be parent-child or anywhere like this. So let's build the floor. So we will select the cube again and we will rename it, right click, rename, and name it floor. And we will give it the scale 20, and the y-axis can be 0.2, and the z-axis 20, and the sphere we can just delete that one. If we zoom out now, 20 here also, you can see that we have a nice floor for our map. So we can build like a platform here. If we click the floor and then duplicate it, we will have floor 1, and we can give it 18 by 18. And if we take the first floor and give it position 0, 0, 0, and we give the second one 0, 0.2, 0, and then if we zoom in a bit here, you can see that we got like a nice plateau. It looks really nice. So the floor 1 can be part of floor, so these two are together. So let's build like a house or something. We'll just right click and create a new cube here. 3D objects, cube, and let's call it a house. Move it over here. And let's make it here's the scale 4.4. So it looks really nice, a nice house here. And then right click and duplicate it. So the house will have the house. This is like the house foundation. This is the actual house. An actual house we will move up 1, and we will have it a bit smaller. So let's scale it to 0.8 maybe, like this, 0.9. Yeah. Okay, it looks nice. So the first one should be like small, so 0.5 in height. The second one should be like maybe 4 in height, 6 in height. Yeah, it's really nice. And it needs to be dragged up to 3, 3.5. Now we have a nice house. Maybe a bit too high, maybe put it to 4. And then we can make the height of the house. So right click on it and 3D objects and cube. No, I'm sorry, we don't want cube, we want the round one, which is, I think it's a cap, no it's not a capture, no it's not cylinder, it's a spear, yeah this is the one. So the house was 0.9 for 0.9, so the spear will be underneath the house. So let's give it 0.5 maybe. Zero point 0.7, 0.7. And we need to increase the height a bit, maybe 3. And now we have a cool house. So this is like the basics of creating like housing and everything like this. And we can reset the X and Z. So the floor of the house is 4 in X, 0.5 in Y, 4 in Z. The house itself is 0.9 for 0.9, and the roof is 0.7, 3, 0.7. I will call it a roof. And in order to move the house into the level, you can just like move it, the arrows. So it looks really nice. Now we want to add another level of the floor. Let's add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. So just duplicate them by clicking Ctrl D on it. Just move it. The first one was 0, the second one 0.4, so this will be 0.8 in the height. And the position is 1 less for each. Let's duplicate that one more time. So this will be 1.2, 0.7, 0.7. And we will have a nice level here. So 1.6, 0.6, 0.6. What we have created now is like a cool structure. So let's add some where the ball can go down. So we'll add like 3 spears, and we will call it the ramp 3D object and spear. And our top floor was 1.6 in height, so let's put 1.6 in height here, and let's give it a bit higher. So here it is. Oh, I don't think we need spear, I think we need capsule. Clean object, capsule. Yeah, this is much better. Rename it. Yeah, this is better. Rename it to here to ramp. Give it a bit height. That doesn't look good. Let's add cube instead. Just give it let it be a 0.2 in all directions. Then give it a bit more height, like 1 in height. So the top level was 1.6, so it's added to the top level, 1.6 here. And let's make the legs a bit wider, like this. And just duplicate this one, or first rename it to the ramp, and then just duplicate it, rename it to ramp leg, and just move the ramp leg a bit, like this. Duplicate that one more time, move it like this. So if we have minus 1.8, and then we have plus 1.8 maybe, so we get a nice ramp here. And then just duplicate it one more time. And then we will have the actual ramp itself, the ramp floor. And the ramp floor should be higher than the rest. So 0.2 in height, and the X should be much wider, so we need like 50. Oh, that's too wide. 20 maybe, yeah, this is much better. And we want the ramp to be rotated. On the x-axis. No, not on the x-axis. On the z-axis, yeah. So 0. Maybe 1 something. Yeah, this looks nice. And make it a bit wider. And now we need just to have the supporting legs a bit higher. So just move the ramp down a bit. This and make this higher. So this is 4 in height. So we need to have like 4 points. 5, and as you can see, this is the actual ramp leg. So this is a really bad method of doing it. I think I should just duplicate this one and move it to the center and have this one invisible. Is there an option to have invisible? So I move everything outside here. And I would just create like 1 pixel here. Then I will move everything in like this. Okay, our ramp, it has lost its X. Yeah, we need to have like more, like maybe like this. The height of this needs to be much bigger. Also the height of this one. And now we have created like a ramp. So in order to make it more steeper, we can just increase the set for the rotation. So for example, -20 will give this dip. -10 will give this dip. And we need to, of course, change the scale here. So we have a really cool ramp and a really cool house. So to summarize what we have done so far is that we have built a map, we have a floor, we have a house, and we have a ramp. The next thing we are going to do is to add something that is falling to the ramp, and that is a falling object. And a falling object, it's a game object. So let's right click here, create a 3D object, and it should be a sphere. Here it is, the sphere. And we should position it over the ramp like mid-air. And just a little tips, you can click the Z-axis up here in the gizmo to have an overview. Well, I'm sorry, this Y-axis to have an overview. So if I go like this and then click the axis, then I will have an overview. And I can see that it's falling to mid-air. We have a main camera, it's lying down here, so we need to position it so that we can see what is happening. So I can see in the main camera here. Maybe something like this. If we press play, then we will actually see what the main camera sees. So this is a view of the main camera. So it sees the ball on the ramp. We can maybe move it a bit further like this and rotate it so it looks down. So something like this, 20 in the z-axis, in the x-axis. So if we select the spear, we can see that it does nothing. To make it like a normal ball, we need to give it a ridge body component. So this is done by selecting the spear and add a component. And components are added in the inspector window. So it's down here, it's component, and we need to add a rigid body. Okay, then we have a rigid body down here, and we can see that the ball has gotten a mass of 1, and it has also used gravity. So let's try to run the game again. And we can see actually that the ball falls. So we can drop it for a higher position, and then we can see that it falls even faster. We can even take this spear and duplicate it by clicking Ctrl D. Then we can have a spear over a spear, and then try to launch the game. And we will see that one falls to one side and the other goes right down. So this is rigid body. We have this picture here. I will link it in the description below. This is a floor that we're going to give to our map. So this can just be done by saving the picture. We'll just save the link so I can give it to you. So here is the picture. And down here we have project and we have assets. So we're going to import the picture here. So under assets, we are going to create a new folder. So right click assets, create folder, call it materials. So when we open it, there will be of course nothing in it. So here we're going to create a material called solid blue. So right click, create, and then click material here and name it solid blue. Here in the inspector of the solid blue, we have something called albedo. So we can click on it and then we can change the color. So we will give it a blue color. Now it's blue. So to have one ball blue, you can just drag it and drop it onto the ball. Then we see we have one blue. So let's create a yellow also. Right click, material, solid yellow. Give it a yellow color. And make the other ball yellow. Now we have one blue and one yellow. What is really cool now is that if we go to the solid blue color and we change it to a darker blue, you can see actually that the ball changes color. So it uses this solid blue. Same with the yellow one. You can change the yellow color to a reddish yellow and it will change the ball. So materials are really important. To make the ball white again, we need to remove the solid blue material from it. So just reset that one. Oh, I'm sorry. Now we reset the blue one. Okay, in order to change it, actually, we have to create a new material called default material. Create material, default material, and just apply the default material. Then it will be white again. Okay, but for now we have one blue and one yellow. So we have the brick, the floor. So let's create one material with the brick. Right click, create material, and let's call it brick material. And we need to import the brick. So importing is just dragging the picture into the folder here. Now we can click the little icon and select the material. So it looks like this. So let's go down here and we can add the brick material to the floor here. It looks like this, really nice. We can select the brick material and we can see that there is something called tiling, and it has a 1 and a 1. And if you have smaller numbers, the brick will appear larger, and if you have bigger numbers, the brick will appear smaller. So if you have 5.5, you see that the brick will appear smaller. If you have 0.5, the brick will appear larger. So maybe 2.2, then it will look like this. We can also add physical material. So let's create physical material here. Great. And down here we have physical material, and let's call it bouncy. And here we can see bounciness. We can set that to 1. And if we go to this sphere, it should have something called sphere collider. Here it is. So here we can actually drag the material. You see it here, it says non-physical material, so we can drag the bouncy into that one, and then the blue ball should be bouncy. We are now going to manage game objects with prefabs. So we are going to rename our original ball here as bouncy ball. So just go up here, rename the sphere to bouncy ball, and then we can delete the yellow one. So we have one ball that is bouncy. So the bouncy ball, it has regular material and a physics material. So the regular material was the blue one, solid blue, and we have the physical material bouncy. So under assets, we can create a new folder, and we are going to call it prefabs. We're now going to drag bouncy ball into the prefabs folder. Just like that, and we have a bouncy ball as a prefab. So if we drag a bouncy ball into the window, we will use the same prefab. So it's just like duplicating the ball. So let's just put it really big up here, and then we have two. So let's drag in 10 balls with different heights. And if we press play now, we will have 10 that falls and bounces. The cool thing here is that you can hold shift in scene view to select more than one ball. If we want to move all these much higher, then we just hold shift. Now we can see that they're bouncing really good. As you can see on the hierarchy part here, we see that it has an arrow. If we click the arrow, we will go into that one. If we hold Alt and click the arrow, we will go into the prefab. So if we go to material and drag solid yellow into this one, and then click autosave here, and then go back, we will see that we have changed actually the prefab. So all the balls have been yellow. We can do for one of the ball to have override of the prefab settings. So here we can actually scale this ball to be twice as big as the other ball. So this is overriding the prefab. I'm sorry. So we can also have the material, physics material here. We can click this circle and select none. Now it will not bounce because we removed the material bounce. Let's create a new material here. Let's call it solid red and give it a red color. Let's add this to the ball. Put it a bit higher. So we have overwritten the scale, we have overwritten the physics material, and we have given it a regular material. So if we click here, overrides, we can see that we have done the transform, mesh render, and sphere collider as overrides. So if we wanted all the balls to be this, we can go to overrides and click apply to all. And then all the balls will be red and twice as big and not bouncy. And we can revert all overrides also for this ball. We can also go here for prefabs and we can drag. We go to bouncy ball 6 here, so let's call it bouncy ball. This is just ball, it's not bouncy. If we drag it, we can create a prefab of this one by clicking prefab variant. Now we have a red variant of bouncy ball. So now we can drag this one in also, but this will not be bouncy, just a ball that will drop. It looks really cool. So let's publish this game. We'll go to Window, Package Manager here. Let's try Unity Registry, WebGL Publisher. Okay, here it is. Let's just click install that one. Okay, now we can see in my project and we have WebGL Publisher. So here it is, WebGL Publisher. So now we can publish. Build and publish. Okay, publish. When it's finished publishing, you will find it in play.unity.com, and here is the game, and I can actually press play here, and I will see that the balls are bouncing.